Alright. Hey God. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. Hey guys, it's Sydney and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be talking about all the movies I've watched during January, and I watched like 21 of them. That's like the most movies I watched in a month, in forever. Yeah, it was like a lot of movies. I had a lot of time on my hands, I don't know. And I read like 2 books this month, which is a lot for me. Usually I read like 1 book a month, because usually I like to space my time out with books. I like to stay in a world, you know. Don't look at this at the top. It's still drying. My hair's still drying. And I have to go to work after this. So don't look at that. So I'm gonna be talking about all the movies. I did some rewatches, but like they were good rewatches. But I watched a lot of new movies and a lot of movies that I have never watched before. So yeah, so we're gonna start off with January 1st. The first movie I watched in January was Zootopia. Now that's real cinema. I don't know, like, so Pretty in Pink. I was bored, honestly. I was bored. Like, I didn't really pay attention until Andy started yelling at the father and stuff. Like, I was like, okay, she mothered a little bit, I don't know. And I didn't really I understood what's going on, but I just didn't care. Like, I was just like, why is this almost like a classic? Almost a classic. Like, it's not like considered a classic, but it's like, oh, Pretty in Pink. You ever watch Pretty in Pink? Who's more annoying? Pretty in Pink stands or Great Gatsby stands? Okay, let me stop. Comparing Pretty in Pink to Great Gatsby is crazy. I've never read The Great Gatsby or watched the movie, so I don't know anything about Great Gatsby. Why am I talking about The Great Gatsby? Anyways, the next day I watched Rango. Rango is a good movie. That's all I can say. You know, it was good. It was fun. For what it was pretty good, you know? Animals saving the desert and stuff like that. I don't know if I love or hate the liar reveal trope. I don't know if I love or hate it. Like, it really makes me angry because I don't like when people just like lie, especially when it's a lie the way he was lying. Like the people in the town are so stupid, because why would they believe that? Like, he was clearly just just riffing it, and it was just like kind of annoying. And also,
okay, whatever that means.
Anyways, I watched Grown Ups too. The thing is, it's funny when it's funny, but it's really unfunny when it's not funny. Like, it's really like a very hit or miss, and it misses a lot. You know, Adam Sandler, I love Adam Sandler. You know, I love a good Adam Sandler movie. This movie is not for, like, yeah. A lot of the jokes were like bathroom and poop jokes that I just don't find that funny. I just find it disgusting. Like, ew, like, who is the demographic for this movie? Because they're making like kid jokes, but like then they're talking about like adult problems, and I'm like, there's no way you're being serious right now. Like, this isn't funny, you know? I wasn't like, it's funny when it's funny. It's very funny. I had a couple good laughs. I just wasn't really into it. I thought the plot was like kind of like, it's like, come on, man. I was just not into it. And then I took a break from watching movies. And January the 12th, I watched Shallow Hal. I've watched Shallow Hal like before, but I didn't watch like the full thing. But Shallow Hal is a good movie. Like, it's a really good movie. The best friend is so horrible. Like, why would he do that? Like, the thing is, he thought like the girl playing Gwyneth Paltrow was beautiful. Even after that, she was beautiful. She like. This is like, I don't know if it's meant to be a commentary on fat phobia. I feel like it is, but it also perpetuates the fat phobia. But yeah, then I watched Little Mermaid. Okay, This is my first time for real, like, watching Little Mermaid. I watched it before and I thought it was boring, but I really watched it this time. I was like, oh, this is a pretty good movie. I low-key want to rewatch it now. This is what really brought on the renaissance of Disney, because this movie is actually really good. Like, it got a 3.5, so it's like, you watch it if you're into that type of stuff. Like, I don't know if I really enjoy the songs in it that much, other than like I didn't see, like, I'm about to say a really controversial opinion, but I don't really enjoy Poor Unfortunate Souls that much. I'm sorry.
You need to leave.
I'm sorry. People be like, oh, that's the best villain song ever in Disney history. No, it's not. Like, she's a villainous character for sure, but like, does she have the best villain song? No. Next is Moana. Now this is a movie. This is a Disney princess movie, okay? 4.5 stars for a reason. Loki went to bump it up to 5 because, wow. You see how when Lin-Manuel Miranda has his hand in something, it's gonna eat every time. I found out that the dude, Christopher Jackson, played Moana's father, and it made more sense. Like, I was listening to Where You Are in the car, right? And it had just came on. So I was fixing my music, right, to play the song. And I was like, Christopher Jackson? Christopher Jackson? I was getting good. I was like, oh my gosh, of course. Of course. Not really. Wow, my nose looks crazy, y'all. I'm gonna fix it. Don't worry. So, and then I watched one of the best Disney animated movies ever, Emperor's New Groove. Because when you know real cinema, you know Emperor's New Groove. Honestly, you do. Because, like, that's a really good movie. Like, that movie never fails to make me laugh. And then I watched Clifford the Big Red Dog. This movie was unexpectedly funny. When that one lady kept pulling out condensed milk, like, yo, oh my gosh. She pop. Why does she keep having condensed milk? Like, I'm sorry, that was so funny to me. And then when Kenan Thompson was like, oh my gosh, I literally have the quote up here. He was like, rhymes with nut hole, when he was like, he has to like take the temperature. Oh my gosh, that was so funny. But like, the main character was so annoying. Like, girl, oh, like, she made me so mad. She's like, we're not sending him to China. If you don't send him to China, like, she made me so mad with that. Like, you're selfish. You're being selfish. Honestly, you are. He's like, you want him to be safe. At the end of the day, you want him to be safe. And then I watched Megan. I watched Kenny JD's video on Megan, right? And I was like, she was like, it's only as funny as like the people that you go with. So Megan was incredibly funny because I went with my friends and like we were cracking up. That movie low-key was not funny on its own. Like, if I reflect, the amount of times I laughed at the movie was probably 3-4 times. So I barely laughed at it. I was laughing at my friends and their reactions to the movie, like, if anything. And then I watched Vampire Academy. My friend Lena, she's always talking about Vampire Academy. She's talking about the show. The show got canceled, by the way. She's talking about the show and stuff like that. So I watched the movie on Netflix. I came across the movie on Netflix, so I watched it. It's actually a pretty decent movie, you know. The acting was horrible, as I expected. The teacher-student plotline romance that they had going on was really kind of, like, very gross to me. I was kind of disgusted by it. So, like, that we won't mention. But other than that, it was actually a pretty good movie. I don't know, like. Then I watched Donnie Darko. Just watch my video on Donnie Darko. Just watch it. 5-star. Then I watched Bringing Down the House. That is a funny movie. If you want to watch a funny movie, watch Bringing Down the House. Then I watched If These Walls Could Talk. A good movie. My favorite part was definitely the 1950s one. The 90s one kind of like made me, like, it made me very bad. Because I'm like, why did they have Jada Pinkett Smith play this role? I get there are advocates, and like, you have to deal with your friends your family having to not support your decision. But yeah. And I also felt like the killing of the doctor at the end was so unnecessary. Even though it really happens, like it has been taken to the extreme. I felt like it was really unnecessary. Like they could have just had it be this one girl that really went through it, that like saw the brutality of the protest. But like she did not have to see that doctor die in front of her eyes. Like that was so like kind of unneeded, honestly, in my opinion. It was unneeded. You know, and Cher just does that. Like from this, Cher does not have a normal face. I could not picture Cher at like any other job other than being like a star. Like I'm sorry, Cher just doesn't have that type of face. And the whole time she was trying to convince me that she was just this regular doctor. I'm like, I'm not convinced, but I would have faced like that, Cher. What's that? And then I watched The Menu. Oh my gosh, I love The Menu. I loved it. I'm sorry. Even though the ending kind of made me mad, like I thought I get the ending as the ending. And I was just like kind of disappointed. Like I just thought it was stupid. I don't want to spoil it for you. Please go watch The Menu, please. And I thought Anya Taylor-Joy's wardrobe was hideous. By the way, if you wanted to know. Like, I thought that dress was ugly, so ugly. And I saw somebody analyzing her dress and her wardrobe. I was like, oh, so they put her in that ugly dress like to prove a point. Okay. And I was like, the dress with the combat boots? Oh, she's real. And then I watched the movie of the year, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I could talk about that movie by itself for hours. So let me know if y'all want a video on Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, because I'll make one. I will definitely make one. And that same night, I watched World War Z. Yeah, that was a good movie. Usually I don't watch zombie movies because they're like too close to home. They're really scary to me. I don't really watch horror movies, period, but like I really try to. Why would you do that? I try to stray away from zombie movies altogether, any zombie media, you know, like. And then I watched You People, which was surprising. Like when I watched the trailer, it was like funny, but I was like, I don't think I'm gonna watch it. But then I watched it with my parents. I was like, oh, this was like surprisingly good. I didn't expect a lot from it. I didn't get a lot from it. I actually like had to miss like a little part of it, so maybe that would have made it like funnier to me. But it was funny sometimes. But the embarrassment that I get from like the white people in the movie, like the stuff that they say is so like. But yeah, what Lauren London's character, I think her name is Amira, had to endure compared to what Jonah Hill's character had to endure was totally different. Like Jonah Hill's character had to endure bullying, while like straight bullying from the dad, while Amira she experienced microaggression to be like a trophy for the white woman. Like it's cool to have this black relative in your family. She expressed it very well at the end, where they were at the wedding and stuff like that, before the wedding. And but yeah, I'm glad. Like I liked the way it ended. It was very cute. It was a cute movie. What did you expect? It's a cute movie. Then I went on an Avengers binge, but I only watched 2 Avengers movies, but they're really long, so it's basically a binge. I watched Avengers: Age of Ultron and Avengers: Infinity War back to back. I had never watched either of those movies. Age of Ultron, low-key the best Avengers movie. I haven't watched the first Avengers movie though, but Age of Ultron is the best Avengers movie. Yeah. 4.5 stars for a reason. Yeah. I don't care. All y'all can argue. If they try to cram too much into Infinity War, I feel like they didn't have to cram as well. They could have left some stuff out, honestly. Like, I feel like they wanted it to be like this big epic, but you're trying to fit this big epic into this like 3-hour movie. Like that's not gonna work. Like especially when like I'm kind of familiar with the comics. Like I've watched like I don't read the comics, but I'm basically a comic book girl. Like honestly, I really am. So I'm familiar with the comics. I'm familiar with the story. Trying to cram an 8-hour synopsis video that's already a synopsis, like there's already a shortened amount of the comics, into 3 hours is a lot. Like, you can't do that. On top of that, like, I feel like they could have made, like, even though Thanos is pretty villainous, he's not as villainous as he is in the comic. Thanos is scary. Thanos' power, I feel like, even without the Infinity Stones, like, I feel like it's still underestimated. Like, he was literally wiping out entire planet. Not entire planets, but half of a population of planets. Because he had a mission. I don't think y'all understand how scary that is. And I think most people were like, oh, y'all are scared of Thanos' purple guy? Yes, because he's scary. I feel like they didn't convey that enough for me in Infinity War. Age of Ultron was just really good. Like, it was just really good. Like, it was entertaining. At first, I was like, but then after, like, that first, like, 45 minutes, I was like, oh. And then, like, it really shows how, like, selfish Tony Stark is. Like, Tony Stark is a very selfish guy. He's a billionaire. Like, multi-billionaire for peace sake. He's a selfish guy. We know that. How do I say? This really shows it at its fullest capacity. Like, the fact that he even went on to make Vision with Bruce Banner after all of this happening shows how selfish he is. But, like, he better be glad Vision worked. Because if Vision didn't work, the war would have ended. But, like, that's not the point. And then the final movie I watched in January was Blended. I love Blended. It was a rewatch. I love Blended. I love Blended so much. When I found out people didn't like Blended, I kind of fell out a little bit. Who doesn't like Blended? Blended and Go With It are kind of like the same movie. Y'all may not get it right now, but take a few seconds to really reflect. That's all I had to say, really. I hope y'all have had a great January and have an amazing February and the rest of the year. I also rewatched Hamilton a couple of times this month, but I already said I don't log rewatches that I've like constantly rewatching. Like, if I logged a Hercules every time I rewatched it, y'all would be tired of me. But yeah, that's all I had to say. I'll see y'all next week. Bye, guys.